Hey guys, welcome back to the Zilinski life. Today, I don't know if you've noticed yet, but you will notice that we're doing something a bit different. Tentatively, we're calling it First Budget Friday, but it's from the perspective of you've never done a budget before, maybe you know you should, but you don't really know what to do. So this is a basic intro that if stupid 18-year-old Cody would have seen 14 years ago, then maybe it would have helped me and I'd be in a better spot right now. So yeah, this is that.
So most of you who are currently subscribed to the channel obviously know what a budget is. We are doing this more so for the new people who might be coming across different budgeting apps and like looking for budget ideas. And we're going to do a series of videos on this. So the first one is going to be, this one's going to be really simple, just an introduction of like, what is a budget?
On like a conceptual level, like what is it, how does it work?
Yes, so what is a budget?
Yeah, what is a budget, babe?
A budget is just a spending plan for your money.
But no, budgets are really restrictive. People that are on a budget aren't allowed to do all the things they like and they never have any fun and they're boring.
You know what, that's what I used to think, until we started budgeting.
But babe, that's what it says in all the cartoons.
Do you know why it's not restrictive though, in my experience?
Why?
Because if I have a plan for my money, I can save for the little emergencies along the way, so that I know that the money I have to spend is actually money that I have to spend, and I'm not left at the end of every paycheck or every month going, I'm out of money and I still needed food, because I didn't plan where my money was gonna go.
I see.
Which is realistically how I used to budget.
We wrote notes for this video like 10 minutes ago.
We have bullet
and now
points.
We're kind of just winging it.
Yeah, you guys know us. We just kind of go by the super fast. But that is how I used to do my money. Cody used to do it a lot better than I did before we got together. But that was kind of how I used to do things before I started budgeting.
To be fair, I had the benefit of making a really high wage and also being in camp all the time, so not really having a ton of opportunity to spend it on a bunch of stuff, so that helped.
But most people, they get paid, they pay their bills, and then whatever's left, they just spend it on whatever, but they don't think about like the little things. So for me, it was like my car registration would come up and I'd have no money for it. Or somebody would have a birthday or an emergency would happen and I would have no money left over for it, or I would have to use my money for something and then I would miss a bill, or I wouldn't have enough money for food because I was never planning for things. I was never budgeting my money. I feel way more freedom in our budget now than I ever did without a budget before.
So in short, a budget is as restrictive as you want it to be. Basically, your money will be used on something. A budget is your way of deciding what that money will be used on.
Yes.
If you want to buy a bunch of video games and stuff like that, you can put that in your budget and buy video games. If maybe it's more important to you to save for a car or something, you can decide to do that instead. But that's basically it. A budget is you telling your money where to go instead of your money saying, see ya.
Now there's different ways to budget. Some people budget the old-fashioned pen and paper way. Write down your income, write down your bills, get a little calculator.
Figure out how much money you have coming in, figure out how much money you have going out, and pray the first number is bigger than the second number.
Which is how I used to do things. Another popular budget is doing cash envelopes. If you've ever followed the Dave Ramsey program or heard of Dave Ramsey, you've probably heard of cash envelopes. And that's just a really good way to stick to a budget as well.
We'll break all these down in future videos, what they are and how they work and so forth. How to do them yourself.
There's a 50-30-20 method, and sometimes the percentages can change, but that's usually the example given. So 50% goes to your needs, 30% to your wants, and 20% of your income goes to savings or debt. And I actually have a PDF that I'll link down below that I've created. It's a fillable PDF that automatically calculates those numbers in your budget. Or you can just print it off and write on it and use a calculator if you do better that way. YNAB, which stands for You Need a Budget, is a web-based budgeting app. They also have an app for iPhones and Androids. That's what we use here on this channel.
Well, YNAB is basically digital cash envelopes.
Yeah.
It's much less bulky and much more streamlined than parsing out cash into envelopes.
They are our personal favorite way to budget and the one that we most recommend. There's also other apps like EveryDollar, which is endorsed by Dave Ramsey. There's Mint, and there's a few other apps. I know in the States they have one called Cube, which is both a bank and like a digital cash envelope system, which I thought was pretty cool, but it's not available to us here in Canada.
None of that good stuff is available in Canada, and the stuff that is available is like 8 times the price it is in the States. It's insulting and hurtful.
But there's a lot of different budgets that you can use, way more than what we've listed out here, but those tend to be the more popular ones. I don't care which budget you decide to use, just use one that works for you. Okay, so
another important thing you'll see, what is the difference between tracking and budgeting?
So tracking is what I used to do, where at the end of every month, I was using Mint at the time, and this is one of the reasons why we prefer YNAB, where you need a budget. But with Mint, I would at the end of the month look at where all of my money went. I'd create a budget at the beginning of the month, but I didn't stick to it. And at the end of the month, I would look at my money and be like, oh, I overspent $200 on dining out, and I overspent $100 on groceries. And I look at my money at the end of the month and say, wow.
Yeah,
that was not what I wanted to do with my money.
I tracked my spending a bit for a little while, and it is useful to track your spending right off the bat just to see where your money goes.
And what your habits are.
But tracking is not budgeting.
Yeah, budgeting is like a proactive plan for your money, whereas tracking your money is a reactive thing. It's very like after the fact, you've gone back and looked at it and been like, oh, I messed up.
An easy way to tell the difference, whether you're tracking or budgeting, if you get to the end of the month and you look at your budget and say, oh, that's where my money went. You're not budgeting, you're tracking.
So the biggest thing a budget does is it allows you to clarify what your priorities and goals are. So for us, if we say that our priority is to pay down debt because we want to be debt free, then we need to make our budget reflect that. If we're looking at our budget and we're seeing that we're only putting $100 a month to debt, but we're spending $800 a month to dining out, which if you're new here, we used to do that.
Or like, we go on and on about how, you know, we're going to be debt free and we're going to save for retirement, but we bought a new TV and we bought a new stereo and we bought an Xbox and we bought a PlayStation, we bought a bunch of games and we have a bunch of subscriptions and we bought a new car.
Which we didn't do.
No, we didn't do any of those things, but that is your actions not reflecting what you say your values are.
Yeah, so having a budget gets you to be really clear on what your priorities and goals are and to live out those values on a financial level as well.
And in a lot of ways, it maybe shows you what those values are, because where your money goes reflects what your values are.
Yes.
So it lets you kind of get a little more integrated with yourself and see what's up with you.
And it's also great if you're working with a spouse or partner as well, because it kind of forces you to communicate that and get on the same page with certain things.
Yeah.
Which is also very helpful. But
and to agree on things, because as a couple, you only have a finite amount of money. You can't afford necessarily to do all the things that everybody wants to do all the time. So you have to agree on what your goals are, and then you can work towards them.
So in a nutshell, that's it. A budget is just creating a spending plan for your money. It's being proactive about where your money goes, not reactive. And to us, we found it to be a really empowering and fun thing to do.
Yeah.
Now that we've figured it out, and
now that we've you know, gotten used to, well, not really gotten used to it, but now that we've actually like done it and been doing it for a while, it has been awesome.
Yeah.
So
that's it for today's video.
Homework on the video about budgeting. Start tracking. If you know you're brand new and you know you should budget and you don't know how, start tracking. Just look at where your money goes, so you can see what you're doing. You know, because I think we all knew when Val and I first started dating, we knew that we spent a lot of money dining out. We kind of died a little inside when we found out that we were spending her entire salary dining out.
He's not joking, really. When we started dating and we did this, and we'll go through this in the next video, like how to look at your finances and figure it out. But we were spending, on average, and we are not exaggerating, over $2,000 a month dining out.
Yeah.
Almost my entire take-home monthly payment, but like monthly income, went to dining out. And like we were dining at nice restaurants. He was courting me. We were dating, fresh in love. I mean, we're still in love, but like we're smart about our money now.
Try to be.
But it makes me sick when I think about how long we did that for and how much money we wasted doing it.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah.
But anyway, track for the future, and we'll see you, I think we're doing first Friday of the month?
We haven't decided yet. These might go
up. We're
either
going to do it every Friday or the first Friday of the month, and that's a fun little first budget Friday.
Yeah, they're just going to be short videos, like 5 to 7 minutes long.
Watch this one be 22.
No. And then we would love to hear from you guys in the comments below, like what budgeting method do you use? Do you use just pen and paper? Do you use cash envelopes? Do you use an app like YNAB or Mint? Or is there a totally different way that you like to budget? And
if you're brand new to the whole concept, what are some questions you have? What do you need some clarification on?
Yeah.
How can we help?
Let us know.
Yeah.
So that's
comment. And that's it for this one. So as always, if you like it, like it. If you don't like it, dislike it twice. We'll catch you on the next one. Make sure you subscribe, get notifications. If you have an actual bell, ring the bell. We'll see you on the next one. We love you guys very much. And is it payday yet? Bye. Bye.